Good.
Okay, back for another session of Rogue Trader. This is session 6, I believe, unless my math is wrong. Quick recap for last time. Still handling a bit of logistical concerns, kind of working out how to handle some cargo, namely some drug cargo. I'll answer that in a second. So, handled some drug cargo that they found on board the newly acquired ship. That was one thing that was being worked through. Another concern was who to get it off to, of course. They were reviewing some warp charts that they found, previous courses they could use going forward. This was located on, again, the former pirate ship presented to Aeneas. Basically, a lot of logistical things, preparations for journeys. And one of the primary things that was handled was the acquisition of a new navigator for the other ship. A chance meeting with a bounty hunter that was working for the Navy. Quite a few things going on. When last we left, we were still in preparations for the next move, and Asterius was preparing to set up a meeting with some mercenaries to discuss offloading that product for profit. So that is where we can pick it up. But first, I believe that Mr. Khan had something he wanted to go ahead and do. I'm not really sure if this will be a song or a soliloquy, but we'll see what happens.
No. There's a slight misunderstanding. This is not for the session. I'll do it afterwards as a funny aside.
Never mind.
Yeah.
So.
Sad offensive.
Yes. So last that we had left off, you had all completed a agreement to bring a navigator on board the other ship, and then afterwards there was kind of some decisions to be made with Asterius setting up the drug deal. So I believe last I told you that there were two interested parties. There were some gangers who were local to Footfall, and then there were some mercenaries. And how did you want to proceed going forward, and who did you want to kind of involve with this?
Coming after figuring out the mercenaries, I would immediately inform. Well, I mean, the mercenaries I was thinking I would ask Lord Thorne and what his thoughts were with it, and move on from there. So, if you want to start there,
go ahead.
Lord Thorne. Seems there are two groups there interested in our Phazon. A mercenary group and a band of gangers. Both offering the same price. My initial thoughts is the mercenaries, we might be able to milk for more.
Makes sense. And if not, for the same money, I'd just as soon see it in their hands.
So then we should set something up with the mercenaries. Should probably wait until at least Darius gets back. It's a lot of unquestionable work going on.
Yes, absolutely. Take the Archmilitant with you.
And with that, he'll get on the Vox box to Darius, at the very least, or if the whole group wants to listen in. I imagine you'll be able to hear. Darius, are you there?
I'm here.
I have a deal that needs to go down. I'm gonna need some muscle.
Well, if it's muscle you need, look no further. I've got it in quite large supply.
And the screen is he's with Helios.
and who else am I with? I think Aeneas. We're still down.
I would say you're all back on ship at this point. So this
Okay.
happens after your arrangement.
Yeah, so Darius is talking to his Vox, and the door opens on the bridge, and Darius and the others walk in. Now he can speak in person. He says, "At your service. What do you have in mind?"
I'm setting up a meeting with a mercenary group about the Fed and the Phazon. Of course, I don't want to go out there by myself. I could be dealing with more than I bargained for. At least I want to include you in on it, and if anybody else wants to go there, more than welcome. I'm sure numbers would be appreciated in the situation.
Well, that's awful kind of you. We've worked together before. We have quite a bit of experience together, you and me. Quite the 1-2 combo, eh?
Yes, my sentiments exactly. And we could probably use some Helios in on this action as well with his craziness. I'm not sure if any of us would want to join us or not, or even Lord Thorne. We'll have to ask them.
I wouldn't presume to volunteer the rest of our crew. But I'll tell you this. There's no cowards on board the Thorne.
Of course not. So at the very least, I'd like you to prepare yourself.
Roger that. Just give me a moment to clean my weapons, get locked and loaded. I'll be ready to take on this mission. 2 shakes of a lamb's tail.
Excellent. And I'm sure everybody else is together somewhere. I can go find them.
Helios would be on the bridge, and he would have listened to your conversation.
Asterius, your plan seems sound. I, however, will stand by. If there is trouble, I will use the teleportarium to get to your location. After all, I am best when there is unrest, you see.
Is Aeneas there in Umbria?
What have we done so far with the Rusty frigate?
Sure. So, pretty much what has occurred between the last session you played and this one is that a navigator's been acquired for the ship, and some drugs got brought over to the main ship that you guys had originally brought to the pirate ship anyway. Mm-hmm. So, really nothing has advanced as far as the repair work.
All right, that's what she's.
That was also happening was Umbria was not to be seen the last session. So I was hoping that Helios would try and find her and figure out what she's been doing, because it could be that you were moving between ships.
Yeah, I was just thinking she's doing repairs on the Rusty frigate.
Yeah, like well, it's not like progress. It's just making sure things are in working order, going back and forth, and just doing tech free shit.
Yep. Analysis upgrades.
And is Aeneas present?
Let's assume that you can reach out to everybody, one way or the other.
And with that, he'll get on the Vox box and invite everybody else along to this little shindig they're gonna have with the mercenaries.
Shindig. What is it that you're planning exactly?
Just a simple deal. Haven't dealt with either one before. They're interested in our drugs, and they're paying a lot of money for our drugs.
Do you need physical backup? Is that it?
Hmm. Well, I got the physical. Thinking the more the merrier when it comes to them seeing numbers.
Hmm. Umbria kind of pauses over the Vox. All right. I will take time out of my duties to accompany you.
Excellent. We should be leaving shortly, so have yourself ready to go.
Already am. I will meet you on the bridge.
Excellent. I'll see you soon.
And she heads over from, probably from the Rusty Frigate.
Question about logistics. Apart from that, getting the navigator, what else is the rusted route? Mind you, that's the new name.
Oh.
What else is the rusted route missing? What else does it need? Just time, or does it need raw materials?
So let's go ahead. I'll just go ahead because I think I updated the Rusted Frigates stuff. So for the, and I'll rename it the Rusted
Mhm.
Roots.
Thank you.
That's like what we're going for. Okay, so the biggest thing for it at this point, so hull integrity isn't bad, and there's not been any parts that have been irreparably damaged. The biggest barriers are one, you are down a third of the crew from where they were before. You did kill quite a large group of crew when this thing was taken. Two, morale is abysmal. It is, when last session we were saying that this ship is kind of on the verge of mutiny. That's not an exaggeration. It is very close to being mutiny. So it's a situation where morale is horrible. Now it is improving. I will say that with some shore leave, it will have improved by 6 points, but that still leaves mechanically it at a resting morale of 24 out of 100. So people are pissed off, and it's tough to deal with.
So mechanically, not mechanically, roleplay wise, could actions like provisions, what else can be bought from Footfall onto that ship that would help improve morale, apart from finding more crew?
So for morale, there's a couple different options. There is an option to, potentially bribe the crew by making a charm test. A routine charm test, as far as somebody who, whether it's the rogue trader or somebody else who would want to do it. And you can regain, for this, because it's a frigate, it'd be 1d10 morale. You could actually, let's see. It's basically, it would be difficult one if you weren't bribing them. So if you're just doing it without bribing them, it's a difficult -10 test, but they regain 2 morale for every degree of success. You can do that once per session. There's, port, if they're on kind of a leave right now, but they're just working off of their own stocks as far as money and everything goes.
Mm-hmm.
There's an option to kind of hand out some throne gelt by making a +20 acquisition test, and that will help improve morale. And that can actually improve it to full in a week.
I see. Okay, so those are some things like we can spend some money to actually improve the morale on that ship. Now, just like we found the navigator, what can, like, I'm also thinking, apart from flaying and impaling, Helios has almost like like he gets the ship running, right? So would he know or have some things that he can roll for to find places on Footfall where people would sign up for money for some sort of like a void, void faring mission?
Mm-hmm. Another thing, real quick about morale too. If you actually spend, let's see. If you spend 2 weeks in this location, it actually improves morale. So we might have already hit that mark, but actually I think we just got here a couple days ago. So if you spend 2 weeks in this location, it will improve morale to full because they'll have had all that access to get off.
Well, plus don't we need to wait for parts anyway?
Yes, actually it is a 2-week wait for parts as well. So that's another thing to consider. As far as population, so it can only occur at a location inhabited by humans. You can make an acquisition test, hiring on new crew members from the locals. Depending on the world, this may be easier or harder. I'm going to say that the plus 20% to do so is pretty straightforward here. Football is a big place, but it's no hive world. So I would say that that this crew kind of depends on what kind of crew you're looking for as well. I mean, you can find crew in any port, but it does depend on what kind of crew you're looking for. If you're looking for just similar type crew to these guys, that actually would probably be easier because they're not very good. But if you're looking for better crew, like higher rated crew for ratings, even a crew on par with your crew would be kind of difficult to find, and it would for the most part roll off of the shittier crew stats because there's still more of them.
I see. Okay. So we have to wait for 2 weeks for those parts to come, and without those parts, that ship is not void worthy.
It is void worthy right now. It is just at a lower hull integrity than max. So it's for all intents and purposes, this ship can be sent out. You've got what you need. You've got a navigator. You've got enough crew to run it. The morale is terrible. Spending some time here will improve that.
Okay.
But it's not something where the ship itself is not void worthy now. You've got all the parts. It was just a matter of having a navigator to make it to where it can go into warp. Otherwise, it's locked to stellar.
Okay. And the other question is there a time bound on the Zaith contract?
That one's a bit more difficult. For that, I mean, these contracts are made with expectations that it's going to take some time to get there. No one expects you from Port Wander to get to Zaith in days. This warp travel is way too unreliable to set those kind of expectations. It's get there as soon as you can and try to deal with the problem. So there's not a hard time limit, but you don't really know how the situation is going to look. You don't even know how long it's going to take you to get there. In game, it's probably already been 2 or 3 months real time if I can go back and check, just because you've been traveling through the warp, and warp travel is not, there's a disparity between warp travel and the time that passes outside of warp. So like the 2 or 3 days that you spent in warp going from kind of place to place, or however long we took, I'll have to double check to make sure. I'm actually going to keep a running timer now. I
thought it took like something like 10 days real time or something, like 2 or 3 days.
I'm playing with the numbers a bit, so it's not like you're completely fucked, but that's about right. So usually it's a 12-to-1 ratio. I'm sitting around 7-to-10 depending. I'm just going to have some fluctuation in it to make more sense with, so that you're not showing up somewhere 1 year later.
Okay.
But so we'll go ahead and time passed. I'll say for now it's been like 1 or 2. We'll say 2 months for now, and then we'll just keep a more accurate track.
Okay. Okay. So then, okay, fine. And I guess, so Helios would not want to go down yet. He would like to have a discussion with Lord Thorne and Aeneas about what is it that we want to do with the other ship and the mission to Zaith. So that's the other reason why Helios would not want to go down.
Okay. All right. So let's get a quick wrap up of who is going down to this after Asterius kind of makes this proposal. Who's going down to this deal?
Darius is.
Numbrius.
So Darius and
I go
Umbria.
where Lord Thorne goes.
Mm-hmm. So Lord Thorne, is Lord Thorne ship staying on ship, or?
Yeah, I think Lord Thorne's sitting this one out.
Okay. So we've got Darius, Asterius, and Umbria. Are you taking any crew?
We could take a few. Just in
Two or
case something
three?
really goes on. Yeah, 2 or 3.
Okay.
I'm not expecting them to do a lot, but number-wise would be,
Meat shields, yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Darius goes down below decks and picks the ones that look the toughest. Don't look scared. Don't look like they've eaten any scared chickens lately.
All right. So you reach out to your contacts to set up a deal with the mercenaries. Are you bringing any sample?
Yeah, I'll bring a sample, but I'm bringing the Hulkable. Like we can use teleportating for that and everything.
Okay. All right. So the meeting point ends up being a bit of a shanty warehouse, footfall side. As with many things, it is a bit ragged. I won't bring the crew out just yet, but you have like 2 or 3 crew with you as well. And it is rather clear that this is the meeting point. Outside, there were a few men that were standing guard that ushered you in. Inside, there are a group of mercs that are posted inside the warehouse, kind of waiting. They see you enter, and they wait for your approach.
I'm sure we'll walk in with our heads held high here. I suppose you're the mercenaries that's interested in our goods.
That's right. And this guy gets up off his box. I understand you have some product you'd like to push.
Quite a bit. More than enough to go around for your crew, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's around. Contact told me I was going to be dealing with Asterius. That's you, I assume?
That is me, and who am I speaking to?
Tarkelian Tandir Company. Obviously, you know who's in charge.
So, your original agreement you were saying was 2,000? 200? Can't remember the next price you said.
No, it would have been. These figures are pretty high. So it was at 1, which is just like basically a fortune as far as profit factor. So you're arguing for like hundreds of thousands of. Well, this is kind of a thing of hundreds of thousands of thrown geld.
Gotcha.
So he's like, we had an agreement. I'm just going to spitball a number. We had an agreement for 400,000 thrown geld. That's right. That was our offer.
From what I'm told, this is pretty good stuff. I have another buyer set up. I want to see if you wanted to sweeten the deal before we went to them.
He just kind of scoffs. So you wasted my time and had me come out here just to try to spitball me a new offer, huh?
I know and you know it's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, the one we had already set was a good deal. What are you trying to get from me?
The deal was good for you, not good for us. It got you enough to talk to me.
If it ain't good for you, why are you here then? Mysterious.
Because whether you take it or not, I have another meeting to go to.
Who's your buyer?
Well, other than
Yeah, buying yet.
that's no concern of yours. But let me tell you, I'm pretty sure they're not fond of you.
How am I gonna know what to offer if I don't know who I'm betting against?
Well, just assume they met your offer and are willing to go more. I'd rather have you do it, so I'll still cut you a deal as long as you're bar park.
Let's see. Why don't we do a bit of what would be good for this? Not commerce. Maybe commerce is more contracts. What is a good thing for probably bartering, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do a barter roll opposed.
All right.
Is there anything we can do to affect that roll? While he's talking, Darius would be standing very stone-faced behind him. And if perchance any of the minions make eye contact with him, he just smiles, showing his one rotten tooth and flexing his arms, and giant veins stand up out on his biceps. It looks like pipe cleaners.
What do you guys think would be something to assist in this as far as Asterius's bargaining?
Is there anything like intimidation?
I could do intimidate.
Intimidate could go badly.
Mhm.
You are working with mercs, but it is your choice. You can also see if you know anything about this company in particular.
Look at my.
Common Law War would be something that could apply to see if you've heard of them before.
Yeah, I could roll that. You have Common Law War, and it's at a decent skill level. So,
Mhm.
Is that something I have to roll off the sheet?
No, you can, I think there is a lore skill check available. There
Skill
should be.
test.
If not, you can just sheet it.
Yeah, Bria's just kind of standing behind, not really doing anything. Staring. Ugh. Oof.
You could certainly
my
fade
rolls.
it.
Those refresh every scene, don't they?
They do. Everybody who used fate points
Every
last
session,
time,
not
no, not every
scene.
scene. Every session.
Every session.
Anybody who used fate points last session, make sure you've refreshed. By the
I
way.
should probably bank it.
All right. So, if you're going to intimidate them, or you just how are you going to intimidate them? I guess would be my thing, and then I can give you what your modifier would be. How would it assist his bargaining?
Well, he wants to look tough enough that he's given the message that if there's another gang willing to do the deal with Asterius, then they have to be at least as tough as us. So he wants to look as menacing as he can to not step on Asterius's toes or offend them outright, but look very capable.
Yeah, I mean you look tough and intimidating for sure, but I don't know how much spirit it's gonna have on his bartering.
Okay.
They're pretty tough guys too.
Just forget about that.
Oh, you're good. Anything from Umbria?
Well, don't have Common Law War. Don't have Intimidate.
What are skills you have you think would assist with Asterius?
God, all I can think of is logic. Everything else doesn't really apply.
Yeah, that could be good. Let's explore that. What do you think would be a good use of logic in this case for bargaining?
I guess just I don't know. Maybe the
You gotta think it involves numbers, right?
yeah. I guess basically just like the risk to profit ratio and like how much risk we're putting in with meeting with him. And also kind of maybe throwing an upset depending on who the other gang is compared to this gang, and if we're giving them an unfair advantage. And it's like basically it's kind of a safety net for us, almost like a hazard pay. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Do the logic roll and then RP it how you would relate that.
Don't have a me and Bull roll.
Huh?
I said, don't have a me and Bull roll.
Anything can happen in percentile.
Hey.
There you go.
That's a success. So go ahead and RP it. What would you be saying in this case to relate that just to either Asterius or to them?
So Umbria will kind of place a hand on Asterius' shoulder and step forward a bit, as kind of more whispering than anything. Asterius, let them know that in this type of deal and selling them this type of product is both a risk that we are taking in regards to selling these drugs. In a sense, this is basically a hazard pay, and of course we want to be able to get the best price for said merchandise. So we need to make sure that those who are interested in it are willing to pay what we are offering. Though we are renegotiating the deal, it is not uncommon.
Most excellent, yes. And then with that, you'll look at it this way. If we sell to you and you offer us a higher amount, or at least get close, we gotta go tell those scoundrels that we're gonna go see next that we're just plumb out of product. What you know is not gonna go well. But not only that, we can also guarantee our shipment with our telepathium. No hard cargo no hard cargo needed. You give us the coordinates, poof, they're there.
I'd say it's a fair argument. Go ahead. So you're going to do an opposed. We'll go barter. Give yourself a plus 15.
Alright, I'm gonna have to roll this from the sheet. It's not on my thing.
Yeah, it's. Need to work on getting more of those added if I can. Oh,
There you go.
oh.
Nice.
Oh yeah, so you guys kind of go back and forth trying to raise these points, and you raise that point. He stops and rubs his chin for a minute. Fine. We'll triple it. 1.2 million geld. But that ain't going any higher than that.
While you don't meet their offer, we'll accept it. Like I said, I'd rather deal with you. You give us the coordinates of the gult, and you give us the coordinates of where you like the goods dropped off, and we'll take care of the rest.
Yeah, fine. He just kind of taps one of his guys to go. And we're gonna need about 4 days to offload all the gout in a safe location. We're gonna have it stocked in a couple different spots in the city. We don't want to put too much in one place, you understand. Footfall is not exactly nice.
4 days, you say?
We're gonna need at least that much time to offload that much Thorne gout. You realize how many crates we have? We don't have fancy tech like you do.
That's fine. We could bring them from whatever coordinates, but you don't get the drugs until we get all our...
Yeah, I get how it works. I'll tell you this, though, Asterius. We better get our drugs when you get that gout. If we don't, well, you don't want to make enemies attend to your company.
I already have enough enemies. Don't worry. You have our word.
Should we sign out the contract for our own personal reasons then? It's got like some paperwork and things like that. This is fairly common even with illicit deals, just to have on file with each other. You know that. It may not be something that's kept in Imperial records as what it actually is, but a deal can be made and tracked.
Yes, we shall. Yeah, but they reach out for the papers, kind of read them.
Yeah, no, it's you go ahead and roll commerce just to look through it. No, it seems fine. Yeah, all looks good here. So yeah, no, you guys sign off on papers, assuming everything else is good, and it's set. And he kind of says he'll send word whenever everything's in place, and the word will have the coordinates for each location. He says you can go ahead and verify them if you want, take them piece by piece, up to you. But once that's done, yeah, you wouldn't. Well, it's for. We need to set something along the money. No one's gonna track Gelt that hard, unfortunately. But this is not. Law is very poor in this universe unless you're on certain planets, and this definitely ain't a lawful planet where people are gonna worry about where the money came from. A rogue trader makes his fortunes. No one gives a shit. So yeah, they'll provide the coordinates for where they put all the money, and then they'll just expect their guy to come back with and he'll provide where they want the stuff sent. And whenever they've got everything and it's all squared away and confirmed, then at that point, that'll be the end of the deal. So
excellent. Not that in. Looks like we have a deal. I look forward to getting your coordinates soon.
Yeah, we'll have it over to your ship soon enough.
Excellent. If all goes well, maybe in the future we'll have another business prospect with each other.
You kind of... We'll see. This better be worth 1.2 mil.
Well, whatever you think it's worth. I couldn't tell you because I don't use it. No need. So, it's potency. It's on you.
Gotta spend money to make money. He just kind of kicks back and sits on the box.
Well, then I bid you a good day.
Just kind of waves his hand towards the door.
Yeah, with that, Asterius turn around, look at Darius and Umbria and the other. Shall we depart?
Aye.
Yes.
Very well done, Asterius.
Well done.
Yeah, we'll see if they come through in 4 days.
Well, let's hope so. For their sake.
And with that, Asterius will start walking out.
Darius follows.
Umbria follows after.
Okay. So pending that 4-day wait, as long as everything is on track and goes well, you will get to add 3 profit factor for all the trouble that you've had to go through moving these drugs.
Making it rain.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. All right, so now that that's all been set up, you can go ahead and RP the exchange information, or kind of RP what the next steps you feel are going to be here, Raven and everybody else to.
So while Mysterious, Darius, and Umbria were down, Helios would make his way to Lord Thorne's quarters. When he gets out, as usual, without any subtlety, he's going to bang on the door.
Yes, come in.
Lord Thorne, if I may have a moment of your time.
Of course, Helios. Come in, have a seat.
Much appreciated. I have a concern about the rusted root.
Yes, she is a bit problematic. And what is it that you're concerned of?
Her captain is accomplished Captain Vorkul. But the crew, they are demoralized. In addition, there are not enough of them.
Yes. Suffered quite a few unfortunate losses there.
Yes. The Dawn is an efficient machine. An efficient killing machine. But I digress. I was wondering if we could do something to improve the morale. Maybe spread some of the wealth to the men who remain on the ship. You see, the Dawn operates not just because of my madness. It is also you, Lord Thorne. The crew respects you. The crew will follow you into the warp every single time. They do not care what lies on the other side. They do not fear what lies on the other side. They will follow. But the rusted root, they do not know our Lord Thorne. They have not seen your magnificence. They have not felt your love, your magnitude.
I see your point, Mr. Khan. Yes, I believe you are correct. Make arrangements to spread our largesse among them.
Thank you, Lord Thorne. I would also suggest that maybe sometime in the coming days, we hold a gathering on the rusted root. You address them yourself. Let them bask in your presence like we do on the ship. Let them know what it is to serve Lord Thorne, and what riches lie await for them.
Yes, that too is an excellent idea.
As always, I appreciate your time, Lord Thorne.
Of course, Helios.
Take my leave.
Achilles nods.
And Helio steps out, closes the door. Not so gently behind him. Also, mechanically speaking, would the seneschal be the right person with respect to accounts on the ship?
So it's kind of a shared duty between Rogue Trader, as much as Rogue Trader wants to get involved for accounts, and the Seneschal. They both have commerce, so that would put them in control of the. They'd be the most appropriate to handle the accounts on the ship. Yes.
Okay, so as Helios makes his way to the bridge,
Yes, Helios.
May I have a word with you, please, when you have a moment? There are some matters about accounts and dispensing wealth that I have to talk with you.
Yes, we can meet up now.
Excellent. I'm on my way to the bridge.
I'll meet you there.
Yeah. What's up? I thought you guys were gonna be talking on the. You're
on
waiting.
the bridge.
Yeah.
On the bridge, yeah.
Okay.
Mysterious. I trust the deal went well, according to your wishes.
It went better than expected. But yet, we'll have to wait 4 days to see if they come through on their end.
4 days. Very well. What I wish to talk to you about was regarding the rusted root and its crew. You see, as you observed the last time we were there, their morale isn't where it should be. I was wondering if we could spare some of our wealth and spread it among the crew. Make it known what it is, what it feels like when one works for Lord Thorne.
That is an excellent idea.
I have spoken to Lord Thorne about this, and he is in agreement. I thought you would be someone capable of knowing the amount to dispense and the method in which to dispense. This is new ground for me, you see. I always believe that a good whipping is morale enough. Flay the flesh of the crewman beside you, and the next crewman performs without questions asked. But that only works if there are enough crewmen on a ship.
Oh, yes. They would probably be coming handy when it's time for combat. Men seem to want to dispose of material and wealth at that time to save their skin. Whereas at that time, their skins, if that's the only thing they have to lose, they'll fight to keep it.
Asterius. Your philosophy, as always, is on point. Yes.
Everything has a value, Helios. Everything.
So I will leave it up to you then to decide on the amounts and the methods in which to dispense it.
I feel like giving them just gold would be a bad idea. However, there's always a material they want of some sort. I'll ask Umbria if she could give me a number of the crew. And we could go from there.
Very well.
Thank you for the motivation on the part of the crew. I'm sure they'll perform admirably afterwards for us for quite some time.
Oh, they will. They will. For what comes after this is just good old Helios Khan's way of inspiring.
Indeed. Alright, give me some time and let me talk to Embryon. We'll come up with a number and I'll present it to Lord Thorne and everyone else.
Much appreciated, Asterius. Much appreciated.
Don't thank me yet. And with that, you get ready to turn and walk out. Until next time, Helios.
Until next time.
And then he'll get on his Vox box and... Umbria, is there any place where you want to meet that we can have a word?
Whatever is easiest for you, Asterius.
Well, I'm gonna head towards my quarters, but if you're close to the bridge...
I am.
That'd be a perfect spot then.
I'll be there momentarily.
Excellent. See you in a minute. And with that, Asterius will turn around and start heading back towards the bridge.
After a few minutes, Umbria walks onto the bridge, looks around, and sees Asterius and walks to him.
I'm sure everything's going well.
As well as it can go.
Helios brought the attention of Lord Thorne and myself about rewarding the crew over on the rusty route.
Why?
Of course, they raised their morale. They've been whipped by us, coincidentally from us taking their ship. No fault of our own, but now we bear responsibility.
Personally, I say get rid of them all and get a new crew, but that is not financially advisable, unfortunately.
No, but in due time, I'm sure a lot of them will end up being replaced. Some won't last long with us. However, I was wondering if you could get me a number of the crew over there so I could decide how much this is gonna cost us.
One moment, and do I remember how many? I think we talked about it last time. How many crew there is still left on the rusty route?
Give me just a moment.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
I whispered you something. Up from
Yep. So.
Bo, can
Oh,
you hear
okay.
me?
Yeah, my Discord's just really acting up.
Okay.
I was didn't know.
Okay, yeah, you're good. Go ahead.
So Umbria takes a moment. I'm thinking. Well, by my calculations, about 8,600 crew died in the attack. There's about 17,334 left.
17,334. That's quite the number.
It is.
I appreciate it. I gotta come up with some way to keep our costs down, but make them think like we're rewarding them greatly.
Well, there is always shore leave, but maybe we can put them each on some sort of a stipend.
Yes, I was thinking stipend would be part of it. I don't like giving them lots of cash.
Maybe we can inspect their sleeping quarters and make them more comfortable, as a good rest is always beneficial to morale.
Yes. I was thinking maybe some better rations and some better drink.
Indeed. Maybe seeing if we can question the crew on problem members within the crew and disposing of them.
Would that be wise, considering that we could use every bottle or every body right now?
If there are one or two who are spoiling the batch, I would rather get rid of them. That is not up to me. It is just my opinion.
Yes.
There might be a few that a group of them dislike. They might be more pleased if we get rid of them.
Splendid idea. I'll get a hold of Vogel and see if there's any group they have in mind. I'm sure he'd be the ears we need.
Maybe have the crew take their frustrations out on this person. Maybe they will enjoy that.
Wonderful idea. All right. Well, I'll figure out the numbers, what we can add, and what we could bear to lose, and whom we could bear to lose, and then I'll present it to Lord Thorne and the rest of the group next time we meet.
Of course. I will continue my repairs and my analysis of the ships.
Excellent. Well, until next time, good day.
Good day, Asterius.
So now he'll turn around the rock out of the bridge, looking at his data pad, calculating numbers and everything, and heading toward Lord Thorne's estate room. When he gets there, I'll give a rap on the door.
Come.
Lord Thorne, I'm sure your day is going well.
Asterius. You can tell me how well my day is going. How did the sale go?
Well, we're looking to receive about 1.2 million.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yes. Well, it's only excellent in 4 days. Is there no hiccup? So we'll have to see then. In the meantime, I guess Helios can talk to you about rewarding the crew?
Yes, he thought we might be able to improve morale some. Seems a good idea.
Yes, it does. I asked for Cole last time we were there if there's anything he could think of, and he said nothing at the moment. However, I told him we have open ears for such conversation, but we haven't heard nothing, so I'd plan on conferring with him as well once we figure out what we want to do. But I was
See
going...
some gelt in their pockets. Send them on shore leave. That should get them in better spirits.
Yes, I was thinking of doing some gelt. However, with our current numbers, if we figure out a way to make them feel grand with as little gelt as possible, it'd be better for the bottom line.
Yes, of course.
Umbria had a wonderful idea. I feel like we can combine in with some type of material rewards and maybe extra stipend as well. If you would like to hear them.
Yes, absolutely.
I calculated that if we managed to spend 20 gwelt per crewman of 17,300 and some odd number, it'd cost us somewhere upwards around 386,000. Seems a little steep. However, if we could reduce that amount, maybe with some type of agreement with Vorkul and finding out some disposable crewmen and maybe putting on a spectacle of some combat of some sort, aided with some drink and some higher quality food, we could probably reduce that number down somewhere between 10 and 15. 10 being the preferable number.
Yes, I like it.
I'm thinking if we could get down to a total of 10, we could probably spend per crewman maybe about 7 or 8 with an extra 2 in their pocket. Or just spend on food, drink, and merriment. That I'm not sure how you want to handle.
Yes, well, we'll go with this idea of a day of entertainment, as it were.
Excellent.
But I do believe that the crewmen should have some financial reward to enjoy their shore leave.
Well, I could try to price up supplies, what we'll need, and we'll figure out that price and we could go from there.
Yes, excellent.
All right, then I'll talk to Vorkul next, and then by your leave, I'll acquire the rations and drink that we need.
Perfect.
Excellent. Well, then, by your leave, my lord, I will bid you a good day until the next time we meet.
Yes, good day, Asterius.
And with that, Asterius will stand up straight and do a about face and walk out the stateroom, being on the data pad, trying to figure out who he can contact about getting some higher quality food and drink for the men and how much it's going to cost.
All right, so just to kind of get a sense of what we're doing here, we're trying to decrease cost of what we're going to pay to each individual by starting a fight club.
Mm-hmm.
And getting them liquored up with some good eats.
Mm-hmm.
My interpretation was less starting a fight club and sort of letting them self-correct the malcontents amongst them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about that, my lord. I could quite like the idea of a fight club.
So let's clarify: are we fight clubbing, or are we allowing men to be beat to death?
Well, I mean, I think that's open to Vorkul to find out. Would the men appreciate some combat games that the so-called number of men have to partake in, plus the ones that want to partake?
Okay. Are you going to have this conversation over Vox with Vorkul face to face?
You know, Vox could be questionable, but Vox would be good.
Okay. So
It might stir some excitement if anybody overhears. the
Shipwide
conversation.
comms.
Yeah.
okay. So you get on the Vox caster to the other ship, and you guys are fairly close to one another, so not difficult. And you do hail, and somebody is on there for a moment. The radio, sort of the Vox officers. One moment, he transfers you over. Lord Asterius, what can I help you with?
We were talking about the ways to improve morale on your ship, and we've come up with some ideas. And we're gonna want to include you because you'll have an ear for what we're looking for and get your general input.
Oh, very well. What is it you think that will assist us here?
Milk tents. Do you have any milk tents on your ship that the crew has been grumbling about? Not ones that have been doing their job well, but ones that are, so to speak, castaways that we can part with.
If I'm being completely honest, Asterius, that would be about half of my crew.
Well, we just need like the top 15.
And he just kind of narrows his eyes. What exactly would this be for?
Well, we figure that your crew being a rowdy bunch, feeling a little bitter from the sting of a loss in combat, but wanting to show that they have gained, we are thinking of a day of merriment, a day of good food, a good drink, and gladiatorial combat.
When you say gladiatorial combat, his eyes kind of go wide. You want us to have blood sport on this ship?
Yes, that's why I asked for the top 15 ill-liked, malcontent castaway types. Like I said, I don't want nobody doing their job well that the people I hate because they're doing a good job.
Is this by Lord Thorne's order?
This will be. That's why we want your input. Would the men appreciate such an event?
He kind of looks a bit disgusted. I'm certain that they would. The majority of them.
Yes. See, the object is to appease the lowest common denominator in the group. Because they are the greater number. And of course, the food and drink would be of a lot better quality, and they can eat till their bellies are full and drink until they're dizzy and regurgitating the food if they please. But this will be open to anybody who feels like they want to partake as well, as long as they are non-essential.
I'm sure that we could, convince some of the more despicable individuals to partake if we even need to convince them. I can speak with the department heads on this ship and create such a spectacle in the cargo hold, perhaps?
Excellent.
You would be providing the provisions, I assume.
Oh, but of course. And like I said, that list cannot be people city or doing their job well and the men hate them because they can't be lazy.
I wouldn't dream of including my best, believe me, not in something like this. Yes, I will make the arrangements that I need to make, and we will have combat in the warehouse.
I believe that is the wrong word, Captain. The correct word will be merriment.
Yes, merriment.
We don't want to confuse it. I expected this shortly after you talk to your heads. Let the men know that there will be good food and drink available as well. And anybody is welcome as long as they're not deemed non-essential.
I will send out the command.
Excellent. I look forward to that list.
Of
And
course. Is there anything else?
Not at this time. We'll be in contact shortly with preparations.
Very well. Good day, Asterius. And he disconnects the Fox. Within the next 15 to 20 minutes, you get a list of about 20 names, and they're all very interpersonal, it seems, but that's how the men take to calling themselves, like Razor, Scugs, a bunch of very stupid short names that are very brutal, but they seem to be a list of the malcontents that you requested.
I guess
They will be included in the games.
all right. I guess the next order of business is be figuring out how to get a good price and some high quality drink and food.
So let's do a quick cut. Is anybody else doing anything while Asterius is planning to have the Roman Colosseum style games in the Rusty Root?
Yeah. Helios is going to make his way to Aeneas after he spoke to Lord Thorne and Asterius.
Yeah, Aeneas would be in his navigator's chamber, looking over the new warp lanes, particularly the one to what was it, Green Orb or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the Green Orb. Here, actually bring up Coronis so you can see it.
Helios comes to the room. Is the door closed? Is it open?
It would always be closed for everyone's safety.
Okay. So, as usual, Helios gives a huge knock. Thart, thart, thart.
Enter.
Lord Aeneas, if I may have a moment of your time.
As you walk into this room, it's very dimly lit. You can tell it's a circular room, and all over the ceiling and the walls are the Cronus Expanse, the map of the Cronus Expanse like you'd see here, with far less places of interest, obviously. You see various hieroglyphics spread out across the ceiling and walls as well, marking various things you don't understand. He sits high on a dais with a rod hanging from the ceiling, circular steel. It sits probably 5 feet above his head on a large, very plain looking chair. He looks down at you from his navigator's seat.
Yes, Voidsman. How can I help you?
We are preparing boat ships for the voyage to come. The rusted route is having some problems, but I believe that is being looked into, mainly with morale. But that is not what I came here for. I have questions for you. Once both ships are ready to leave, what is it that you would require of us?
He looks down at you.
It depends what the Lord wants to do, and where we will go. The Green Orb, likely. On the way to Zaith.
He kind of fidgets in his chair a bit as he looks up at the map and points a finger to where he has marked out the green orb.
Is this what it looks like out in the void?
He smiles.
No. There's nothing that I could show you that you would understand, Voidsman. It is terror and beauty, of colors unimaginable, screams of pain and lust. A terrible burden to behold, but also a boon from the God Emperor himself.
Indeed, the God Emperor. Yes. Navigator, you are a boon to the ship. She will bend to your will as you guide us to the void. Let me know if any preparations are necessary. If we are to go to the Green Orb or to the other planet. I am at your command.
Kind of leans back in his chair a bit.
I wonder about the rusted route. I have not had time to inspect her. Make sure that the Geller fields are operational.
Indeed, Lord Aeneas. I shall work with Umbria to ensure that the Geller fields are operational. She is quite adept in these matters. If she requires any assistance, I shall provide it.
He nods and stands up.
Very well then.
Stands up and kind of walks down the dais to the ground and walks with you out of the room.
We should talk to my cousin and see what his desires are for us next, once that ship is ready to go.
Yes. I have been trying to hide my impatience. When I am not flying the ship deep in the void, I feel restless, useless, limpid. The blood no longer courses through my veins with the throb of the engines of the rose. I would like that feeling again. I would like to be underway. Yes, let us visit Lord Thorne.
With that, Helios bows and starts following Anais.
while they're heading over, is anyone else doing anything in particular?
Umbria's just kind of inspecting over the Thorne's Rose, just kind of seeing exactly what tech is kind of built in, what kind of systems they have, kind of going over everything, seeing if there's anything she can work on, tinker with, upgrade.
So as far as ships go, it's a well-made ship. It's well put together. It's not too much on it that's outlandish. I mean, obviously, murder servitors are not something you see a lot of, and that's something they have in abundance. So that could be a particular point of interest. But the biggest thing on this ship that may have caught your attention as the tech priest is the teleportarium. These are rare anywhere. But a ship built, or a ship that houses a teleportarium is extremely rare in really any sector. This is not technology that is commonly had. So that is a big deal in the ship. As far as other things, certainly the ship has some interesting parts to it. But this, as far as things that are the most noticeable, it would definitely be the servitors and the teleportarium.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Umbria's gonna probably hang around in the teleportarium just to see, kind of go over it, go over like the schematics of it, kind of distance, what it can transport, how much it can transport, how often, like really kind of analyzing the systems.
Yeah, so you're in there, and there is one crewman who essentially this is all he does. He actually has a makeshift sort of area that he's built all on his own. Oh, what the hell is that? That's not what you want. Hold on. I don't know what that was about. It's sort of this makeshift area that he has that is his own, in the same room or section as the teleportarium, and he's just kind of looking over some Dobbs and Niles and sees you come in. Doesn't initially say anything.
And yeah, Umbreda's kind of he's just like looking over kind of the main like panel, I guess.
Yeah, there's like a large panel on the side that he's in front of, and this guy has a seat set up for it, and is just going over, looking at some numbers and things like that on the screen.
Yeah, Umbrea kind of walks up next to him. Oh, kind of looks down at everything silently, staring. Looks kind of up at the kind of machine itself.
He sees you looking at the screen, and looks at you and looks back down. It's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
It is very rare.
It certainly is. It's been in the Thorne family for, 50, 60, maybe 70 years. I know my father, even grandfather, tended this thing before me.
So you know the ins and outs.
As much as anyone can. It's inherited knowledge, really. I don't know what inside this thing makes it work, or cogitations and things like that. I just know from practiced experience. Father taught me everything I need to know. Distances, how much energy output, dangers of the thing.
Has it gone down in quality since it has been passed down? Have you upgraded it? Have you improved it, fixed it?
I know enough to do some routine maintenance on it, but I try not to touch it more than I should. ultimately, if I were to, I could never forgive myself if I caused some sort of issue that made this no longer work. This is a very powerful tool for House Thorne.
Of course. I would like to know all about this teleportarium.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you what I know, and he just kind of starts showing you how everything's aligned for the machine as far as on his panel, and kind of points out the technological parts of how each thing interacts and how it calculates distance. He just sort of goes over it. It's just from speaking with him, you understand he knows how it works, but he has a very basic understanding of it. Like he's certainly doing his job on the ship, but he's limited in his understanding.
Is there a way that I could analyze it further than what he's been telling me?
Well, let's see.
Use the mechadendrites.
So would you be trying to like understand how the uses of it, or just kind of review knowledge that you have of these things, or how exactly are you trying to determine
Both knowledge I have of it, and also like try to find out the specific one's full capabilities.
So for knowledge of any teleportarium, it would be forbidden lore or chaotech. There wouldn't be any modifiers to that. So if your forbidden lore or chaotech would be for the knowledge of teleportariums in general.
Alright. So I think it's forbidden lore then.
Right. Oh wow. Okay. Go ahead and...
I know.
She wrote her doctoral thesis on teleportariums at the Mechanicus
At the Tech
Seminary.
Priest. At the Tech Priest High School. Or university.
Okay.
Mechanicus Seminary School.
So, as far as your knowledge of teleportariums, again, you know they are exceedingly rare Imperial technology. The technology to make these is long lost. But general knowledge of teleportariums is that they were made to be multi-purpose across several different facets of either commerce, material moving, building. I mean, any applicable use you could think, troop movements, military, about any applicable use you could think for moving things quickly between two places at once. Teleportariums are extremely useful for that, and they were a breakthrough science whenever it was they were made. But the time when they were made is, again, long lost to time. How to build them again is long lost to time, and just everything that has been input into these things as far as the mechanisms and everything like that, it's still, while they can be maintained, it is very rare to upgrade or change these things. Whenever they are, degradation is something that you're just trying to stave off. There's no way to really, you can try to replace parts and things like that, but just these things are exceedingly difficult to replace. But having one is extremely powerful for anyone who does have it, because the ability to move quickly between place to place, to move items, people, things like that is very valuable. But a malfunction is potentially deadly in more ways than one. They're also not always entirely accurate. There could be situations where you've heard stories before where using a teleportarium that suffered degradation, people can be teleported into walls half and half and just die. are just either stuck in the wall, they materialize half in, half in the wall, and they're just dead. They just slump into nothing. People can get turned into puddles of goo from teleportarium, just from the sheer travel. How it breaks large objects, especially when they're transported, can sometimes be transported off target, which can be all a number of issues. So they're very powerful, but they're
Mm-hmm.
So understanding this one in particular, I would say tech use plus 10. It would have been in a negative, but you rolled very well for your forbidden lore, so you kind of understand these things. So I'd say tech use plus 10 to kind of get a sense of how well this one's functioning. Okay. So for this particular teleportarium, it is of average quality. I mean, that in of itself is still a teleportarium, but it is of average quality. It's not quite in the stage where it's beginning to run risks to anything. It's got quite a few years left on it, and despite a low working knowledge of its parts, it looks like this thing has been upkept fairly well. Despite that, so its lifespan has certainly been increased by regular maintenance stuff. But there are obviously some glaring things that could be improved upon, and could be safer, things like that. It's imperfect, but it's certainly by no means underappreciated. It is well taken care of in this ship, it seems. There is a particular attention to detail.
And yeah, Amber kind of looks over everything, nods with the crewman, just when he's kind of explaining everything. So, when are you teaching your spawn how to run this?
Well, I'm still in my 20s, but whenever I have him, I suppose.
Always good to start early.
Agreed. Lord Thorne's father had promised me he would get me a wife at some point. Hasn't happened yet, but my lord knows that he needs someone to handle this thing. Looks at it. So I'm sure that we broke it in due time.
Well, keep alive. Your information upon the teleportarium is invaluable.
I agree, He's kind of pipes up. But thank you. Means much coming from a disciple of your like.
I will be back. I enjoy seeing things like these. Keep up the good work, crewman.
He nods and thank you. Very well. Just be careful touching things.
With that, Umbria takes her leave of the teleportarium. Probably or to servitors while everyone's doing their own thing.
Shit, alright. Wait, I have to roll for that later. No. Murder servitor outbreak. So, Aeneas and Helios, now you can approach the cabin.
Yeah, Aeneas would go straight up and knock on it. The door.
Rob?
And again, Achilles recognizes the sound of Aeneas' staff before he actually knocks on the door. Yes, come in, cousin.
He opens the door and comes in and waves Helios with him.
The void's
Mr. Khan, yes, come.
Looks over.
We need to discuss what we will do once we are done refitting this ship we have acquired, Admiral.
Achilles seems to like the sound of that. Yes, well, once she's space-worthy, we'll be back on our way to Zaith.
Good. Shall we go by way of the Green Orb since we have that warp chart now?
Absolutely.
We should see what's there then.
Yes, I've never made landfall.
He looks over at Leos.
Do you have anything else, Voidsman?
I agree with the plan you both propose. I would like to get underway as quickly as possible.
Yes, as would I, Voidsman. Repairs are taking insufferably long.
The ship was meant to be in the void, not outside a dump like footfall.
Yes, well, of course we have to come ashore sometime to make profit.
Yes, if it was not for profit. Sure. It's a waste of time. The void calls. Helios must answer quickly.
So, out of character, how long have we been at this, Ghost? How much time is left on the repair job?
Well, so repairs could be on. I mean, they could have been ongoing. It's just that, like we had discussed, there was a snag because of lack of material. So for them to get more, you have a couple options for the repair right now. The first one is to wait the 2 weeks, and wait for the product to come in naturally to the repair facility you were using. Because again, they're having to wait on some parts that they'll need to fix up your ship. The other thing is, there's another part to that you could look into. I mean, there's no reason it's not void worthy right now, but if you want the thing fully repaired to its max hull integrity, you have to wait 2 weeks for more stuff to come in. The other option is that Mechanicus repair bay that's here that had been previously discussed. They won't need to wait for any materials. But Umbria seemed very unhappy that it was even recommended by Asterius for some reasons that I don't know if she expanded on or not, but the other portion.
So how heretical are these guys?
You have no idea. You haven't had any direct contact with them. The only contact you've had is with Asterius about them, and he didn't hear much more than that they always expect something in return as far as from the ships they repair. And it's not usually money.
I mean, if they're really heretics, then maybe we go find an Inquisitor.
I mean, you don't really know at this point what they're like.
All right, and then I suppose we have the option of going and acquiring parts ourselves, but I suppose that could take longer than the 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on where you're trying to go. You could try to go to a nearby port, but as you said, warp travel, by the time you get there and back, the stuff might have already arrived, and then you're just bringing them extra.
Well, do any of my officers have any input here?
I mean, out of character, I would just wait the 2 weeks. And, I mean, if we have stuff happen in 2 weeks, we can deal with it. If not, whatever.
Yeah, it gives us some time to get in trouble on footfall.
Yeah,
have we ever figured out what to do about the number of crew on the frigate?
Yes, so there you can hire from here. There's a couple things with that, and I'll bring up the handout on it. There's in the handouts folder, if you look at crew morale and pop on number 3, it does give you some ideas for, recovering crew population. So it would be an acquisition role. If you're trying to get crew of the same quality as the ones that are already on there, it's at a plus 30. If you're trying to get crew similar to your quality of crew, it's at plus 20. We also got to consider that you're just filling in gaps. If you take this route, you're not replacing any crew. So the roles are still going to be at the majority crew. That's my understanding, is that the roles that you make for like their skill tests, if you use them to do anything, it's going to be at whatever comprises the majority of that crew.
Right.
So it behooves you to, either replace what you already have, or, either replace it in full with something else, or just recover what you already have in regards to. And the amount of crew you're trying to acquire also will have an impact on how hard it is, because for this ship, you're down 8,000 bodies. Like, you did a number on this ship in technical terms. If you replace a whole 26,000 crew ship with brand new crew, that's going to be a bit harder than just replacing 8,000 with anybody.
Of course, that's what everyone has recommended that he do so far, that Achilles do so far. Umbria wants to get rid of him. Helios wants to get rid of him.
I mean, yeah, we can even actually bring everybody in if you want to have everybody present for these kind of decisions as well. If you wanted to discuss it and get opinions on.
Yeah, we might as well.
Yeah, so I guess we can say that there was a captain's cabin meeting called for, and all of you are present to discuss the current situation and provide opinions.
Yes, I've been giving some thought to the matter of the crew on the Rusty Route. Before we go ahead with any great expense on their behalf, I believe we should entertain the option of trying to replace them in their entirety. I know some of you have expressed opinions that this would be for the best.
Yes, the quality of the crew on the Rusty Route is, compared to the crew here, extremely subpar. As I suggested before, to get rid of the crew on the other ship and replace them all with more competent and more willing crew members. But I am unsure as to what the cost factor is, as I have not investigated.
Mr. Khan, this would seem to be in your wheelhouse, as it were.
Indeed, Lord Thorne. A motivated, well-trained crew is always the better option. If we can get it at cost
Julius rises from his chair and paces about his cabin. Well, Seneschal, what think you? Rather than spend money on substandard crewmen, should we just try to replace them entirely?
Well, the idea is a good one. I guess the question would come down to how much would it cost us to find competent crew enough to outfit the ship. I mean, they have 17,000 men on there now. That's quite an undertaking to replace.
We have
Also
2 weeks.
retraining.
2 weeks for training, 2 weeks for finding a number. Is there 17,000 competent individuals on this forsaken planet?
And that's a low number.
Aeneas, he says,
I might have an idea that will solve all our problems with the crew. At least for the guilt that it would cost to replace them. We now have a Imperial Navy contact through our dealings with the ship. These are pirates. Sell them to the Empire as conscription for the God Emperor's war efforts on many worlds across the galaxy. Let them pay for refitting our ships. Sell the pirates as slaves.
That seems an excellent idea, cousin.
We still have to find competent men to take their places.
Right, well, we gotta do that before we sell these guys down the river.
And in
Mechanically speaking, okay. Sorry,
no.
go ahead.
An investment now will pay off later, Seneschal. When we don't have a mutiny on our hands for those that remember us killing their friends and family with fire.
good.
Well, we could reach out and see if we can find some numbers.
Yes, let's absolutely do that.
So, how do you expect 17,000 men that you abandon on this God Emperor forsaken planet to react once they're without a job and nothing to do but sit around and stew in their hate about us?
Aeneas looks over to Darius and did you hear what I said though? I'm not sure. Aeneas is saying that we should sell the pirates to the Empire as press-ganged soldiers to pay for the re-recruitment of new troops.
So Helios would say,
Brother Darius, you misunderstood Lord Aeneas' words. They will not be sitting on their asses on footful. Not at all. No. They would find themselves on the pointy end of the stick that the Navy calls itself. They will have little time to think about us. All they will do is survive what they're facing. No. With that kind of crew, I expect less than a handful to survive. If the Navy Navy does what I think the Navy will do when they find women such as these. They have been given enough time. A true Voidsman will never let their ship sit in bay like that for weeks. No. If they are true Voidsmen, they will do everything in their power to get the ship back into the void, deep into the void. These are women that our situation has allowed us, has forced us to overlook this fact. But the question now remains, when we make our way to the Green Orb, when we get to Zaith, and when the guns are turned upon the Rose, can we depend on the Rusted Root to have our backs, or turn their guns on us?
It's still quite an undertaking to move 17,000 men off the ship without a foul word for them.
Are we summoning the Navy here to collect them?
I believe we would need to talk to the Navy first and see if they even take this deal. Can give them free teleportarium rides to Footfall or somewhere else. Most of these people are backward fools. Come ride the teleportarium. Straight to your death.
Yes, your words are like poetry to the ears of Helios. Do not stop.
I don't think the screams will carry in the reverse direction.
But who has a contact to reach 17,000 capable crewmen?
Are you a seneschal? Isn't that what you are supposed to do? Hire for our crew?
Yes, but my contacts would just provide us with the same type of men.
No. Scum, maybe, but not scum that we have killed and defeated.
Like I said, I could reach out and see if I can find the number, but 17,000's a low number.
Mr. Khan, do you know where to find Voidsmen? I don't know if there's some sort of guild or anything that he...
Yeah. Would I know based on my history? What's the...
So, what would happen, as far as mechanically speaking, right? It'd be an acquisition test. Certainly, you could work to find capable Voidsmen. Let's go ahead and kind of look at what it would be for getting new crew.
Helios would also say,
Asterius, I've heard rumors of some arena taking place on the Rusted Root. Were you instrumental in that?
It seems to be wishes of many.
Indeed. Then there you have it. That is a good distraction. If it gets the crew in a blood fervor at the arena, it will take them some time
I think the point was to not spend the money.
We may spend some money to entertain them, but the winnings would not have to be dispersed because everybody else would be dispersed by then.
In addition, it is not 17,000 crew that we need. It is approximately 26,000 to fully man and operate, as 8,600 perished.
Then, Seneschal, you have 26,000 souls to find.
And I also have 26,000 souls to pay for.
Do you not listen to what I say, man?
Yeah, I
We
don't
sell
think...
these to the Imperial Navy to alleviate many of our costs.
That's if the Navy wants them.
Get in
That's if we get-
contact, maybe.
If we get a good price.
Did we not just make 1.2 million geld?
Well, not yet. Drugs are still here and the money's still out.
Well, it will take time for this Imperial contact to come through anyway. We have time. This cargo of drugs is nothing. The trade with the Zaith, however, will be a boon for House Thorne and His Majesty.
Well, let's see what the Navy has to say, and I'll reach out and see if we can find this capable crew.
Okay. So let's talk about how difficult this will be to find 26,000 voidsmen if you're replenishing crew to full. So that's considered vast scale. It is a minus 30. You were looking for just competent crewmen, I'm assuming, just as good as your crew you have right now.
Yeah.
30s.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you'd be scarce because it's a +0 modifier. I'd say it's not something that's common to find competent crew of voidsmen. So, Footfall has a fair bit of individuals on it. So I would say that finding them is going to be finding this kind of amount of people is certainly doable. So +20 for that, and they're just your average craftsman. So it's a roll against profit factor at a -10 to find this, and to find this amount of people. It will take a little more than 4 days, so it won't be right in the time frame. It'll take some time to find them. Basically, it won't be right in the time frame of.
Well, we should wait until we do the sale anyway, because our profit factor will be greater.
Mm-hmm. So keep that in mind. It will be at a -10, and of course you can do anything you would with a normal acquisition roll, which is rolling commerce beforehand to improve your chances. So there's an opportunity to do that. A pass on that will increase your chance. I think it's a +10. I believe.
So, from a commerce perspective, if not the Navy, given what Footfall really is, which is a humongous den of misery and wanton behavior, could we sell them to someone on this planet? There must be press gangs over here.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's so the Navy is obviously an option to look into, of course, as was being said.
Basically, hedge our bets.
Yeah, but that's as you're saying. Yeah, I mean, there's no, you could certainly look around and see if there are people on football. Football is a very disreputable location. It would not be outside of reason that people could be looking for press gangs. Now, all 17,000, I don't know. That would be quite a find, but you could certainly find people who are looking for press gangs or things like that.
Like a 5,000 here and a 2,000 there, and a couple of thousand there, a 10,000 here.
Well, nickel and dime these guys there.
But yeah, I mean that's something you could certainly look into. I mean, that's.
And we might. I mean, if you're thinking at a technical level, that might even get us more profit factor. Selling people into slavery, just another type of cargo.
Mm-hmm. I guess the bottom line is we have 2 weeks for the parts to arrive, right? So there's time there. We have 4 days for the drug deal to go through. So in that 2 weeks time, we can get rid of this crew and get fresh crew. The process of getting rid of this crew might help some of that commerce roles to help with that acquisition. Correct?
So could you repeat that for me? The commerce roles and acquisition?
So I'm guessing that to sell the 17,000 into slavery, we might make some commerce roles that can help with the eventual profit factor role of -10.
So to sell them into slavery for people in football is what you're saying? Like find people in football to do that with, or for the Navy? How do you which option you're looking at? For
so kind of like layering it, right? So the Navy does fall through, then find somebody on football.
So you'd have to find people on football first. That would be something where you do inquiry to find people, and then depending on what that role looks like, we can kind of discuss what you find, and then see about how we could roll for, or what we would have to do to make that happen, to make those trades happen.
Okay, sounds good.
So who would be leading the way on that for finding criminal contacts in the event the Navy doesn't pan out?
And that's an inquiry roll?
It would be an inquiry roll, just at base. Because again, this is a shithole. Normally there might be a penalty for finding something so specific, but this is football, baby. This is
what's Achilles' inquiry? I'm sure he's got decent fellowship.
My inquiry is a 30. And we might be able to pull some of my talents in.
Anybody got anything higher? Mysterious?
I got a 59.
Oh.
And then I can also use my peer underworld or common lore.
There you go.
Maybe.
Yeah, peer underworld would apply.
Yeah, well, that sounds like the way to go to me.
Seneschal, do your Seneschal things. Asterius is like one of those older guys at work that complain about doing work and never get around to it. 26,000 people, that's a lot of work!
That's a lot of beans to count, my friend.
Jeez. Whew. All right. I guess go ahead, Asterius, if you're gonna look for potential contacts to sell these crewmen to.
All right, so that's inquiry.
Mm-hmm.
And then with my peer
plus 10.
Plus 10.
Because assuming you're talking to criminals, since that's who's buying slaves. So yeah, you're peer underworld.
Well, is slavery illegal in the Empire?
It's one of those gray area things. Like, depending on who you talk to, yes. Like, it would be looked at as, oh, you're, if you talk to an inquisitor, it's like, oh, you're fucked, buddy. Get in my van. But if
they're
it
pirates,
was,
they're not humans.
Yeah, but if it's like you're like on footfall, no one's gonna bat an eye. This shit happens every day. And news travels so slow that, you know, like any real authority that hears about, oh yeah, this guy sold slaves on footfall. Where's footfall? Like, you know, and it, like real imperial authority that has it. It's just certain sectors have different. Think of it as different sectors have different law, like levels of legality. Corona's Expanse is kind of the Wild West at this point. People get away with shit all the time. You could press gang half this you know rock that you're floating around, and sure it would piss a lot of people off here, but no one in the next sector over is going to care. So, you know, it's one of those things. Slavery is a very gray area, technically illegal, but people do it all the time. It's
Right.
referred to nicely as press ganging.
So the idea is that we're selling these guys to the world, not to the Navy.
Whichever.
In the yeah, that seems. I mean, it seems like everybody's hedging their bet. Ooh, that's
Damn.
4 degrees of success. That's very good. Yeah. So, Asterius, you put out feelers for if people are looking for. You're trying to move. You know what is essentially human commodity. There are all sorts of inquiries actually back with you to kind of ask you questions about what they are, you know, who they were, things like that. So you've actually got way more interest in this than maybe you initially thought. You have about one second. I'm gonna give you a number. You have 18 inquiries about your slaves or your product, quote unquote, that you are trying to sell.
I mean, of course, I would love to get the numbers that they wanted.
Mhm.
So,
So you want to go by the largest numbers of moved at a time.
but yeah, well, I mean, it's just how many men they want from us type deal, so I can figure out how many men are going to them, and how many are going to be left over.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's see.
Well, now remember, before we actually sell them, we need to see if we can find another crew.
Mm-hmm. So, there are a couple of inquiries that catch your eye. There is someone, and this is sort of like on the net local to this area mainly. Think of it as like low-level Craigslist or something, I guess. But this is like net specific area. There's somebody in Footfall that wants all of them and is willing to pay quite a bit of money in order to see it happen, but they're very light on details. They're barely revealing anything. They're revealing only a name of a bar that you are familiar with. It's in sort of a mid-range district. It's not really a popular bar. You're aware of it only because you have contacts and have met in this place before. It's the Asajj is what it's called. It's like a middle ranked area of Footfall. That is all you're getting.
Okay. And I guess then that would be to figure out if I could find a replacement crew at 26,000 something people.
Mm-hmm. So that'd be a -10 acquisition test roll. So you'd be rolling at your acquisition -10, just given all modifiers, because you're recruiting a lot of people. There are a lot of people on Footfall. There are a fair bit of people who have had void travel experience. It's not out of the question you could find enough people. Unlikely you'd find them all in the same place. But over the course of a couple weeks, you could probably get that amount of people on board the ship. And people are looking for opportunity here. This is a shithole. It's not a place to live. It's a place to visit. So plenty of people looking for opportunities.
Alright. So how do I roll acquisition?
It would just be a D100 against your profit factor. Now, commerce is a skill you can use to improve your profit factor prior to making an acquisition test. So it's kind of difficult to gauge this because it's an opposed roll technically. So this is more just your negotiations. I'm gonna roleplay it as it's your negotiations with various groups of crew, probably voidsmen who are comfortable with each other, that have sort of, I don't want to say unionized, but more or less have come together to, try to all sell their services as one. So we're going to say it's an opposed roll between you and them. D100 commerce rolls. So it'd be a commerce roll just at level, no modifiers. And depending on the differences in degrees, it will
Okay.
it will adjust your profit factor either positively or negatively.
Alright, so there's my commerce, 26, and then a D100. How's a 0?
Don't roll it just yet. Don't roll it
Hang
just
on,
yet.
no, it's a roll.
Just
2.
don't roll.
I
Don't
know,
roll it
yeah,
yet.
don't
He's
roll
doing
it
an
at all.
opposed
All
roll in
right.
the background.
Let's roll in just a second. It's an opposed roll first, and then we decide how much better or worse your profit factor is. Give me one moment to
Alright.
roll against it. So the guys I'm rolling for, rolling to beat 40. Okay. So
Wow.
what is, you got 2 degrees of success. They got 6 degrees of failure. Let me calculate that.
Says that 8 total degrees.
Yeah, it's 8 total degrees. Give me 1 second here.
We have broken the game.
Uh-oh.
Okay, 8 total degrees. So each degree that you beat your opponent, you may increase your profit factor by 2 points. You beat them by 8 degrees, so it's plus 16. So you're,
What was
when
our
you factor all that
50?
in, you're rolling at, what's that?
Well, I'm sorry. What was our what is our profit factor? 50?
Profit factor should be at 50 base, so
Okay.
it's going to be, you're going to beat a 56 at this point.
No,
Did
it would
we
be
gain one
a
profit factor for the arms deal?
Actually, yes, so 51.
so it'd be 51 plus 16.
51 minus 10 plus 16. So
Oh, okay,
57.
gotcha.
Because it's minus 10 base, and then
Gotcha.
he won by 8 degrees.
Okay.
So, just want to ask this one question.
Mhm.
If this is done after the drug deal and the drug deal is successful, would it be plus 3 profit factor from the drug deal? So 60?
It would be, but this is right. If we're doing it right now, it's before the drug deal.
Would it be, again, this is an open question, would it be metagaming if we waited for the drug deal to happen before making this specific deal?
No, that's a reasonable thing because you have more hard currency to play with.
Right, that would make sense.
I think in character you'd wait for it to
Yeah,
go through.
I think so.
Right, wait till we have the liquid assets.
Yeah, I mentioned it much earlier, but yeah.
You did mention it earlier.
Cool. So basically, it's like we have set up the deal with all these guys, and it's now basically an inflow, outflow of cash and money that we're just waiting for everything to fall in place.
Mm-hmm.
So this
Okay.
is the perfect scenario where somebody like Tarantino would come in and fuck everything up. Nice. Nice.
Yeah, and I mean it makes sense too because we got to have these pirates to help move this cargo and stuff. We probably wouldn't want to have to deal with new crew having to, you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. So I mean, so is it a situation where we're holding off on the roll then for it, or are we just doing the roll now and then adjusting it as needed?
we can roll now. That's fine. Unless something changes. That's the thing. What if the drug deal doesn't go through, etc.? Who knows? I don't know. So.
I'm just waiting on word.
We'll just have to remember what all the bonuses are from the commerce roll, right?
No, so you can just roll it now, and then we can add a +3 to that roll if the deal goes through well, right?
Yes, you could do that as
Yeah.
well.
Like mechanically.
That's fine.
Let's go ahead and roll it now.
Alright, we're
You
on
might
D1.
hard pass anyway. You sure did. So
Ooh.
Through
I'm rich, bitch.
much footwork and reaching out to contacts and trying to find voidsmen that are capable, you find Asterius. You are able to find multiple different groups of voidsmen that are all willing to join the crew, and you are actually able to get a full complement lined up of crewmen to be able to get onto the Rusty Route as a crew, and they will all be at competent level, which is a 30.
Sweet.
Alright, well then I will report back with my numbers and tell them all the great news about some mysterious figure wanting all the men. And I guess I'll RP it out. I found a buyer for all 17,300 something men.
Excellent.
That's a mysterious fellow. I don't know much about anything except for a bar location in the alright side of town.
Interesting.
I've also found a full crew of competent.
A full crew, you say?
Yes, competent people to take their place.
Was that so hard?
It was mighty difficult to man.
And they asepsis tea.
So, whenever you're ready, we can give word and start the ruckus.
How about we talk to this contact first that wants to buy them? Make sure it is not some sham.
Now we can always ask for payment first and ship them off. But if you wanna, we can meet them. Maybe see what they're all about. We don't want to be giving men to our enemies.
Yes, I think that is wise. Wait until the drug deal is finished. We can do this in parallel. And then when the deal is finished, we can send them in and replace them.
We can do slowly nods. Yes, yes.
Alright, I'll send word that we want to meet with the buyer and send word that we recruit the full crew. And then we'll do the drug deal and see where we land. So he'll make arrangements. How many days has it been since the drug deal?
So the drug deal would be 4 days away if you're just kind of biding your time. Nothing really going on between now and then. As far more, it's setting up everything. I think at that point for the eventual replacement and everything. So, so let's see the drug deal. Much to your surprise, unless you try to do anything tricky, would go down smoothly. You are brought a list of locations by one of the Tandir company, and assuming everything is again done to code, you do receive payment in full. And I'm assuming you transport the drugs to the coordinates on the list.
I'm waiting for Lord Thorne approval.
And you would.
to the teleportarium, and
So that pretty much goes down without a hitch. The contact that came from Tandir Company confirms receipt and takes his leave. So you send out word you want to meet with the person who wants all the crew?
yes, I think that's the consensus.
Okay. You don't receive any word back other than the name of that bar. That's it.
Well, shall we go to the name of that bar?
It's the
That
Asajj,
sounds-
by the way.
What was that?
It's the bar is called the Asajj.
Shall we go to the Asajj? I don't know who we're looking for.
Indeed. Who
Could use
will,
one of those.
who will accompany you, Asteria?
Whoever wants to go.
Aeneas
I don't
looks,
know
Aeneas looks to the rogue trader.
Do you wish to stretch your feet, my lord?
Yes, why not? Stereo said it was a bar.
Aeneas looks to Darius.
Protect him with your life this time.
I have a suggestion, my lord.
Yes, Mr. Khan.
Please do not represent yourself as the Rose or Lord Thorne at this point while we're at the bar. It is
Yes. Splendid idea.
You too, Lord Aeneas. If you would be so kind as to slightly disguise yourself. It is unclear who we will meet and what relationship they will have with either of you.
Aeneas kind of looks at you.
It is difficult to disguise one such as I.
Would you have any sort of livery on you that represents you?
I mean, just that I have a huge headscarf. I mean, it's pretty clear I'm some sort of freak.
Yeah, but that's fine, right?
Yeah.
Because on Footfall we also met a navigator. But if you have,
Oh, I mean, I
anything
can
that
take any
represents-
heraldry off that I want. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Mhm,
Yeah,
okay.
cool.
Yeah. Do that.
Thank you. It is a little perplexing that one single entity is prepared to receive all that cargo. It is happiness that I feel that the pirates will get their just rewards, but I have found such coincidences always have twists and unexpected turn.
That is true. We don't know what we're walking into.
But if I can't find myself in the void, a bar would be the next best place. And if it's a bar that accepts pirates as cargo, then they shall have my business.
Well, I guess we'll make preparations for going. Lord Thorne, are we taking any crew with us as well?
May I suggest we keep a regiment of the servitors in waiting on the teleportarium.
Yes, that is an excellent suggestion, Mr. Khan. That should give us all the backup we need, don't you think, Asterius?
I would agree.
is not to make a scene. But a scene is forced on us. Then a bloodbath is what they will receive. For I care not if 17,000 are press ganged or sent into the void.
Achilles looks to Darius. Arch Militant, have some murder servitors prepared.
Roger that, my lord. I'll make myself busy. They'll be waiting in the wings to slice and dice the enemy and spill their blood. Of course, only if it's indicated.
The teleportarium could teleport our lord away from the bar as well, if necessary. Give the man the coordinates of where this place is in case we must flee.
Indeed.
And Achilles will close the face on his helmet with his armor. Disguise who he is.
All right. So let's get a head count for who is going down to the Asajj. Definitely got Asterius.
I think it's looking like
Everybody.
everybody.
Everybody going down?
I think so.
All right.
Everybody in the club getting tipsy.
Everybody goes down.
Yes. Umbria's not most willing, but she'll join.
Let's get everyone in here. Okay, so
So we're gonna buy Umbria a bunch of Jello shots.
Shots from the
Outstanding.
tube girl.
As they're making their way to the teleportarium, Helios.
Umbria, this would be the first time since you have joined the crew that you partake in the festivities. It is an honor to have you among us.
I very much appreciate being included with the rest of you.
Yes. You see, right now, there is Darius, who stands at the top of getting inebriated. He alone I have seen put away drinks like a demon from the warp. Lord Aeneas, all he does is sit and drink his hot tea in the corner, brooding. Asterius can't stop bargaining on the price of the drink. Lord knows it is vexing to listen to him. I cannot afford the drinks that Lord Thorne consumes. No, Umbria, I think you are the third person that Brother Darius and I have been looking for.
I will happily sit on the wings to not participate in the drink with you. I like to keep my mental faculties about.
Most unfortunate.
It may seem to be, but I function at 100% efficiency if I do not consume beverages that would otherwise impair my judgment.
Yes, this inefficiency is quite vexing to hear it from a tech priest. It's all you focus on, meditate on. But I understand. It is a fixation for you, like the rose is for me. Very well then. Brother Darius, then I shall
Enjoy yourself, Helios.
Indeed.
All right. So, locating this bar is easy enough. Mysterious is beginning to know footfall like the back of his hand at this point. He's been out so much and about.
There's the shot
It
girl.
is. Mm-hmm. That's right. It is a rather. It's not. It's in that strange spot between being a dump and an upper class establishment. They're mix. It's a mix of both. We do arrive. You do not look entirely out of place. There's a healthy mix of individuals here. And nothing is really outstanding as far as the people in here. It is very standard setup.
Awareness or a scrutiny roll, just to make sure.
Awareness.
Okay, here we go. Let's go.
I'll do the same.
Awareness. Oh, yes.
Darius, you sly fox. Double fisting those drinks while I'm looking away, will you?
I see everything.
Gaze into the anus. Alright.
Oh wow, we are rolling like crazy. 1, 2, and a 5.
Mm-hmm.
Darius walks into the club. Has 2 pints of whatever they drink here.
Oh, don't mind me. I might have a look around this club, and my eyes might wander from top to bottom, bottom to top. But my eyes are always on what matters, Helios. Lord Thorne and his safety.
And he chugs one down and chugs the other one down, and you see this giant Adam's apple go back and forth. And
I need another.
So, for those of you that rolled just disgusting awareness, initially when you came in, there was nothing that was really out of place. It all appeared to be standard. You saw some ragged gentleman here and a full coat covering his face, hood. A nice businessman, a gentleman with a full coat covering his face and hood. Bit of a ruffian, a gentleman with a full coat covering his face and hood. And as you begin to see a pattern emerge, you see there are more than a couple of these individuals around this club, this bar, that are wearing similar sort of ragged, tattered, but fully concealing clothes. Though they are scattered and they do not sit next to each other. It does not escape you that these people are wearing similar clothing.
Aeneas leans into Darius.
These all seem to be a member of some similarity. A group, perhaps. They all wear the same fashions.
Yep. As they say, birds of a feather flock together, eh? I'll keep my eye on them. Any sudden moves will be met with possible harshness.
Yeah, so Aeneas would assume that either Achilles or Asterius will be doing the talking.
Yeah, Darius does not move any further than 5 meters away from Lord Thorne.
Achilles, you can certainly roll to see if you're aware of any anti-slave or abolitionist groups. I guess Common Law Imperium? I don't... Or Common Law Coronis Expanse? That's kind of a tough one to define, but you can certainly try.
So, yeah, don't have either one of those. So we'll just take a shot at intelligence.
Okay, half of your intelligence, so...
Yep.
Wow!
Yeah, but
That's at success, so...
about half, right?
Yeah, but that's not halved.
Oh, it's right. Oh, see, no, it's failed. Okay, so no, you're not aware offhand of any abolitionist / anti-slavery groups operating in Footfall of all places. So.
Okay, just making sure we weren't missing some well-known sect of wackos that dresses in similar tattered robes.
Oh, the anti-press gang union, of course.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
So, no. So I mean, you know, those that notice do see this as a bit of a strange repetition. But so how is everybody proceeding here? Are you all finding a table, or are you finding going to the bar? What's the movement?
Bar, maybe the bartender would know something about what's going on.
Okay, you chatting with the bartender.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the bartender is rather burly individual, and he's wearing some strange attire for this joint. It is not something that is the usual. By any means. He wears a metal mask, stands behind the bar, heavily scarred and damaged. And he just looks at you and drink.
Not me, but I'm sure some of my friends may like a few. Mainly that big guy over there.
I'm sure he could put some away. Yeah. What's he drink?
Hey, Darius.
Yeah?
What are you drinking?
What the hell you want? What am I not drinking? That's the right question, bloke.
He'll take bartender's choice.
Fine. Don't say he wasn't warned, though. Might not like it. Better ask him if he's sure.
I think he's sure.
Fine. He goes over to the taps and just starts mixing different things together from them and slams 2 big flagons out and says, "There! You're paying?"
Yeah.
Go ahead. You gotta. It's a few gals. It's nothing you can't handle.
Yeah. And another thing, I'm assuming that you know a lot of the people that come in here regularly.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you don't look like a regular here.
No, I'm here on a bit of business. I'm involved in a crew exchange.
And he tenses up a bit. Oh. Yeah. So there were a couple of people at the bar, but he's looking at him. Both of you, move. Go sit somewhere else. Here, have a seat. Have a seat.
And with that, he'll sit down and get comfortable.
And he kind of pulls up a stool behind his barn. So, you've got some living goods you need to move. Yeah?
I take it you're the one that I'm supposed to be talking to in the first place.
I can neither confirm nor deny, but I'm always happy to talk about it.
Oh, well, we just kind of wanted to see what type of individual and purpose somebody would have with a large group of cattle.
Individual, well, that's me. You're looking at him. Purpose? Well, if you were going to do this deal wanting to know about purpose, you wouldn't be doing it like this, would you? So sorry, but that's none of your business, and that's why I'm paying so good.
Well, it's not really what you do with them is a big concern. It's more about we don't want to be fighting the same crew sometime later, if you know what I mean.
Like I said, stranger, I'm not going to tell you where they're going or what they'll be doing, but I can tell you I can get them all off your hands and won't take anything from you.
Well, as far as the deal goes, it stands and it's good still. Whether you eat them, kill them, or press king them, it's not up to us.
Oh, they'll have much more glorious purpose, but I need to know when you want them gone. I need to make arrangements for it.
Well, now that I met you and I see it's legit, we'll have to kind of set up an arrangement someplace where we can use our teleportorium to claim the bounty and coordinates where we can ship them in, because we can put them anywhere you want them.
Oh, fancy teleportorium. We don't need it. You won't need to do a thing. You just need to tell us where the ship is and when you want them gone.
Well, I'm assuming I could get a hold of you the same way we have been talking, where you just been giving me the name of your bar.
I'll be here for a little while longer.
No, that won't take too long. It would be before then, I'm assuming. But you could give us the coordinates when you're ready of where we can teleport our financial gain. We kind of like not having to transport it through labor or manually assisted devices. We kind of like having it where we can grab it.
Agreed. Very well. Let me know whenever you have reached an accord and you agree to the terms. I'll give you some coordinates. Once you get the money, well, half to start, then half when we get what we need. How about that?
We've been burned before. I wish I could say I trust everybody I meet, but then I'd be lying to you. Maybe 3/4 before, quarter after.
Done.
No, I don't suppose there's anything I can roll to kind of goad him into talking more, maybe about purpose without upsetting him too much.
How charming are you?
Oh, let me take a.
What's everybody else doing while Asterius is selling people's lives?
Achilles is drawing a servo skull on the back of a bar napkin and talking to Umbria about.
Having one built.
Yeah.
I guess I'm somewhat charming.
Roll it.
All right, let's see how polished my shitty ass can be. Not very polished.
Fate.
Yeah, I guess I'll fade it. Oh, much better.
Okay, so 1 degree of success.
I'll
So how
take
are
it.
you role playing this out? Like, what are you trying to say to Coke's purpose?
Oh. Well, if I could just get a little more information, it might make my lord a little at ease about the deal.
Your lord, you are noble.
Indeed. We all work for somebody, right?
We do.
Unfortunately, mine can be kind of tight with the purse strings, you know what I mean?
Understandable. I can tell you this. They will be put to good use as forces of change. There are changes coming to this sector. We will need able-bodied men to make it happen, and they can be useful for this purpose. I care not from where they are from. Warm bodies is all that is necessary.
Excellent. So it doesn't seem like we'd be at odds with our disgruntled crew then.
They don't sound like cripples to me, perhaps a bit mentally defunct, but there is use for those individuals. We can be prodding them towards purpose.
Excellent. I shall be in contact shortly. I'm interested to see how you go about getting them off the ship. Might be quite the spectacle for us, I'm assuming.
Oh, you won't have to see a thing. Just let us know when you want them gone.
Will do. Well, I guess I'll join my friends and watch them drown themselves in your glorious booze. I'll see how my friend Darius is coming along with your concoction.
Come to mind it, it's very strong. Only for those who can face the rage.
I'm sure he'll have both those mugs down by the time I get back over there.
Certainly. He just kind of goes back to getting drinks together for people.
You fools can come back!
And he waves over a couple of hooded men who are sitting at the bar. Sends them down drinks.
Asterius turns back to Darius and notices that both the flagons have been drained. And Darius is kind of leaning back on the bar, and there's a couple ladies around him, and then they says to me, they says, why about we teleport you onto the ship with the great big bug creatures with the giant pinchers and the armor? And I'm like, fuck you, fuck off, you goddamn sword. And they just shake their head and like kind of walk away, disgusted, as he smiles with his one tooth. And he turns around to Asterius.
Oh, at least that ale was good.
He said it's pretty strong, and you'd have to face the, I don't know, anger or something.
I don't know. Feeling pretty chipper right now.
Excellent. Just don't be breaking down no line dancing or anything.
You won't be having to worry about me doing any line dancing. Maybe a couple of lines, but not line dancing.
Excellent. I'd like to remember this night. And with that, he'll walk over to Achilles. I talked to the contact who wanted to purchase our cattle. He seems to think that he'd be able to put them to use here, enacting some type of change. He says we don't even have to teleport him. He just give us where our ship's location is, and he'll come get them himself.
That's the part that creeps me out a little bit, frankly.
Me as well. But we could try to arrange different arrangements as we leave here and get in contact with them afterwards.
I mean, I suppose we could always be ready to blow the airlocks on the Rusty Brute and send over some murder servitors, just in case we had to clean house.
Yeah. Well, I did arrange for a 3/4 payment first, so if we have to do that, we don't have to worry about the other quarter. At least we still come out ahead.
Good man.
But, I don't know how long you want to stay here for.
Well, unless we have further business, everyone have a drink or two, and then let's minimize the risk to ourselves.
Excellent plan. I shall not drink, but I will enjoy watching everybody else drink theirs, and hopefully we don't cause too much of a ruckus.
All right. So everybody heads back to the ship at that point after the drinks.
Yep, I think so.
All right. So a deal is put in place but not sealed for the transit of 17,000 souls to parts unknown as you all return to the ship to discuss matters further. We will call that a session.